Omer Shem Tov, first of all, it's an honor to see you.
Thank you.
Alive, looking handsome and good. How do you feel?
Thank God. I'm feeling good. Now that I'm here with you, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
It hasn't been that long since you were freed. I
No.
think February, right?
Yeah, February. Yeah. So for about maybe 112 days, 13 days.
Has it sunken in yet that you're a free man?
Wow. You know, sometimes it's like it hits me. You know, the last time I was at the beach and I watched the sunset, and suddenly I'm like, wow, I'm home. You know, it feels surreal sometimes.
Yeah. Is that the best thing about freedom? Just those moments that maybe you took for granted before?
Yeah, for sure. The small moments. You know, the sun on the skin, the food on your plate, the showers. You know, the time you can spend with your family. It's those times you know, it's during the day, it just passes by you, yeah, that you really must cherish.
505 days in captivity.
Yeah.
Let's start with October 7th. You're at a music festival, it's a beautiful day, you're with your friends. What do you remember?
You know, I remember we were dancing. We got there to the festival at about 1 a.m. maybe. We were dancing. We had a lot of fun. You know, we're 20 years old. For us, it's just having fun. You know, we were saving up money. We wanted to go on this big trip. And at around 6:29 a.m., approximately 6:29 a.m., the Hamas started launching missiles to Israel. The music stopped, and the production told us to clear the area, to go back to the parking lots. For us, it's very usual, you know, to have every now and then a missile attack on Israel.
Like a way of life.
Yeah, you know, it's every few years. And you know, we just walked to the car. We didn't run. We didn't panic or something. We walked to the car. We stood by the car. Most of my friends, they left with their vehicles. I stood by the car with Maya and Itai Regev. Okay, they're both they're brothers, brother and sister. Good friends of mine. At some point, I get a phone call from my dad, and he tells me it's not only a missile attack. There's also terrorists coming inside of Israel, and very quickly we understand that it's you know, it's not a usual thing. We started hearing shootings from all around the place. We got into this open field area, and we just started running for our lives. You know, from a place to another to another to another. We're seeing people drops down to the floor. You know, getting shots. Yeah, gunshots from all over the place. And I remember as we run, maybe after an hour we run, I get a phone call, and it's an unknown number. I don't know who's calling me, and I pick up the phone, and it's a hero. His name is Ori Danino, and I only met him 2 hours before the party. And Ori called me and he told me, "Omer, where are you? Send me your location. I'm coming to get you." And after maybe 40 minutes, I recognize his car. I wave him. He stops next to us, and I see the car, and I wave to him. He stops next to us. Maya and Itai, they go in the back. I sit next to Ori. Ori is driving the vehicle in the fields, and we get to a road, and we take a turn right. We took a right turn, and as we turn right, I recognize two vehicles, two pickup trucks of the Hamas, and they're blocking the road. As I recognize them, I crouch I put my head down, and they start shooting at us. And I remember hearing Maya speaking on the phone with her father, and she's telling him, she's screaming, "Dad, I've been shot, I'm about to die, I love you." And then suddenly I look to the left, and I see Ori, he's opening the door, and he starts to run away. And I'll say now, Ori, he was captured by the Hamas after a couple of hours, and he was in a Hamas captivity for 11 months, and he was murdered after 11 months by the Hamas, and his body was brought back to Israel to be buried. And I remember after Ori left the vehicle, the shooting stops, and Itai, Maya's brother, is screaming, "Omer, drive, drive, drive." I'm putting the car in reverse, and I'm trying to push the pedal with my hand, and the car didn't move. Suddenly I see two terrorists heading to us. One of them is pulling me out from the driver's side. It's pushing me to the ground, kicking me, spitting on me, doing like this victory position where he puts his leg over my back, ties my hands behind my back. I remember me looking back at the vehicle, and I see the terrorists pulling Maya and Itai from the vehicle. They were both shot in the legs. Maya's leg was in a very critical condition. And after maybe 5 minutes, they threw us in the back of the vehicle, of the pickup truck, and we drove to Gaza. And in no time, we were inside Gaza already.
You always hear people say, "My life changed in an instant."
Yeah.
But yours really did.
Yeah. I used to hear this sentence, so many times in my life, and at that day I realized how much it's true. Life can change in a split second like that.
So the days turn into weeks, and the weeks turn into months, and the months turn to years.
Yeah.
Almost 2 years in captivity.
Yeah. The first 53 days I had company. I had Maya and Itai. They were in captivity with me. And after 53 days, they were both released. They went back home safely. And I stayed alone.
Why were they released?
She was injured, and she was a woman. And Itai is a minor. So he was a part of the deal.
Right.
For me, I stayed there, and I felt like, that they're leaving me behind. Not Maya and Itai. I was very happy, and I was very glad that they went back home.
But you felt alone.
But I felt alone, yeah. And being at this hell alone, it was the worst feeling. And after a couple of days, the war began again, and the Hamas, the terrorists, they took me down to a tunnel. I remember me walking down a tunnel for maybe 50 minutes, very small spaces. I got to this small cell. It was 40 meters under the ground. And I remember that the terrorists, they're pushing me inside, closing the cell door, locking it. And as they leave, they had flashlights. As they leave, suddenly it's complete darkness. I can't see nothing. And when I mean nothing, I mean nothing. If anyone will go inside a room and close the light, and will close the light, and then will take his hand and wave it in front of his face, you'll see shadows. For me, I didn't have those shadows as well. For the next 50 days, I was starved. At some point, I could feel my bones on my shoulder and my rib cage. I was very, very weak. I couldn't stand up anymore. And the first few days, it was 2 pieces of bread, and after this, it became one piece of bread, and then it became half a piece of bread. And at the last week for me, at this small tunnel, this small cell, I had a biscuit a day with some sips of salty water. And I remember me waking up, and I used to take the biscuit and I would have to calculate throughout the day how would I eat this biscuit.
Yeah.
And every bite I took felt heavenly. And after 50 days, I remember me sitting in the dark and praying to God, telling Him, please, God, please save me. Take me anywhere. It doesn't have to be home. Just save me. Help me survive. And after a couple of minutes, the cell door opens, and one of the terrorists tells me, Omer, get up, grab your things. You're moving to a new place, and in 1 week, you're going home. And I take my things, and we're walking for 40 minutes inside the tunnels. And suddenly, I get into this big room. It had white tiles all over it. And I remember me going inside this room, and I felt like it's the heavens of the tunnels, you know.
Right.
And there I spent the rest of the 400 days alone with the terrorists.
How would you say they treated you? Did they torture you? Were they civil to you? Were they not communicate with you? How did they treat you?
So it would depend on time. I can't say they were nice. Yeah, I would say there were times they were very bad, and there were times they were bad. Mm-hmm. Like I've said, starvation. They used to curse me all the time. They used to spit on me. They used to treat me like a dog. I was abused mentally day by day. Day by day, they would tell me that my family doesn't care about me, and the government forgot about me, and all of Israel, they don't care about us. And, you know, I just had to find my way to survive there.
When you're alone for long periods of time, we read stories from people who were prisoners for one reason or another, mm-hmm. and it gives you a lot of time to think.
Yeah.
Think inwardly.
Yeah.
What did you think about during your time in captivity?
That's you know, no one ever asked me this question. It's a good question. I thought about everything. Every person that I've met in my life came up to my head, even if it was for a couple of minutes. I thought about life itself. You know, at some point you accept death. I told myself, okay, if I'm supposed to die here, then that's it. That's for me. I thought about my family, nonstop. My friends. I wanted to believe that they fight for me, and they really did. I didn't know it. And you really do think about life itself, you know, that you can't take life as a granted. And I promised myself a lot of things during the time I was there, that when I would get out, I'll treat better to this man, and I'll do better at this thing.
And have you? Yeah. I mean, did it change you? Have you lived to become the man you wanted to be when you were?
I feel like I've upgraded. Yeah, I became a Omer 2.0. Uh-huh. I don't think I've changed. Like with my friends, I feel like from the day I came back with my friends, it's been the same laugh, the same everything. It's the same. But I do feel like I have more responsibilities on me, and I do feel like I'm a lot more mature now. I'm 22 years old, and I feel like I've experienced the life of a 50-year-old man. So yeah, it did change me. It did change me for the better, and I'm trying to do my best at everything in life.
Yeah. So then you find out that you're going to be released in February.
Yeah.
What do you remember from that day when they told you you were getting out? And this time it was real.
Yeah. There were many times that you know, they tell me you'll be released, and then it didn't happen. So for me, after 5 months maybe, I learned Arabic by hearing them. They didn't want to teach me, so I kept it a secret, and I just learned and learned. And I remember the last month when the ceasefire began, I saw my picture in a TV, yeah, and I told the terrorists, am I leaving? Am I going out? And they told me, no, you're staying here. And I could understand from the TV and from them, they were talking to one another that I'm leaving. I could sense the change in the way they treated me. Yeah, I had much more food at the last month. You know, they wanted me to come out. I came back home 39 pounds less. Yeah, but at that last month, I ate so much. They just wanted me, you know, to get out and to look healthy, like they treat us good.
Yeah. Which is far from the truth.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I've seen video, and I'm sure you've seen it, of your family watching as the helicopter lands.
Yeah.
Did you sense their excitement? I mean, you knew they were going crazy, right?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Did the moment live up to what you thought it would be?
It was a lot bigger than it. A lot more bigger than it. It's wow. I can't explain this feeling of pure happiness. You know, it's something. It's real. You
Probably
know?
had never felt it before.
Never, like this way. You know, I felt happy before, but this was pure happiness. It was joy, and it was an amazing moment.
Let me ask you some questions about Israel.
Yeah.
Do you worry that the further removed we are away from October 7th, as the world, that people will start to forget what Hamas did and see Israel as the aggressor because the memory of what they did to people like you has faded?
You know, right now I'm advocating, and I'm going all over, around the world. I'm doing this for the hostages, for the remaining hostages. There are still 53 hostages there. At least 20 are alive. For us, we'll never forget. And I believe that, you know, as time, hostages will be released, and every time it will, the world will see the way they treated us, what they did to us on the 7th of October. I think there's a lot of people that forgets about the 7th of October, yeah.
And that's what I mean, you know, at some level, Israel was attacked.
Yeah.
Okay?
Israel was attacked.
Period.
Yeah, period, yeah.
Period. Israel was attacked on October 7th.
Yeah.
And their response, I think, was warranted.
Yeah.
But as time goes on, people start to forget that Israel was attacked and not the aggressor.
Exactly. No, I think people just should see the videos of the 7th of October, see the horror of 7th of October, and you'll realize why we fight. You know, we protect ourselves. We want our hostages back. So we'll do anything, we'll do everything that it will stay in people's mind. We'll just, the names of the hostages and the 7th of October, it's something that we'll never forget, and we'll always remind.
You know, as an Israeli, knowing the history of that part of the world, they've been fighting for thousands of years. Do you think in your lifetime that there will ever be true peace in that region? And can there be?
It's a big question, you know. I've seen the way they hate us. Yeah, they hate us, and I can't see how it changes. I really did try when I was there. I really did try to understand their side, and I did. I took all my ego aside. I put it on the side, and I really did try to understand them. But they don't want peace. They took money that Israel gave them, and they could build an amazing place, an amazing country, and they took it and they made it terror, So
When the Palestinians elected Hamas as the ruling party you're talking about.
yeah,
Hamas that has sworn that it wants to see the destruction of Israel.
yeah. They used to remind me this all day long. They used to tell me that they'll destroy Israel and they'll win and God is on their side, and Israel seeks peace. We really do seek peace. There is something that my dad he told me not a while ago. He told me if you notice, a lot of regions have a symbol of a bird, and this bird is an eagle. If it's Egypt, and if it's Russia, and if it's the U.S., and you can look at a lot of regions, and a lot of countries. Sorry, and Israel, we have a dove with a leaf in its mouth.
Right.
We have been taught peace all our lives. Ever since I remember myself, I've been taught peace, to give respect to one another, no matter the region or the religion or nothing, the color, nothing. Respect and peace is what we're taught, and this is what we seek. But as long as we have to fight, as long as we have to protect ourselves, we'll protect ourselves. I just want to say one more thing. I want to remind there is still 53 hostages. They are waiting to get out of hell, and we're doing everything we can. And I want anyone that's watching this just to really look at their faces, to understand that they're human beings. Put aside if they're Jewish, it doesn't matter. If they're human. There's human lives on the line. And these are more than photos. These are stories, and these are brothers and sisters, and these are father,
sons and daughters.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So, really, please just put everything on the side and remind yourself these are human lives on the line.